4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision's The Week That Was, covering the news and events for the week ending Friday, June 28th, 2019. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, this summer, Troy University started a new educational opportunity that is sending students from the College of Communication and Fine Arts to Italy for the summer for a brand new Summer Arts Academy. Brady Talbert has more on what the Academy is offering the students and a report from Pietrasanta, Italy.
Pietrasanta, Italy is picturesque to say the least. Life moves slower in the city and locals can be seen out and about walking alongside bicycles, sitting at cafes and shopping for produce. The city is recognized for its marble, which can be found in its architecture, and for its art pieces that create a vivid downtown. Here in Pietrasanta, Italy, the rich Italian culture of the northern Tuscany region collides with the talents of some foreign visitors, some of whom you may recognize. Some Troy University students are spending part of their summer studying abroad in Italy. Programs from the College of Communication and Fine Arts are using what the country has to offer to broaden their view of the world.
Every day there's something happening, and being immersed in this sort of cultural home here in the heart of Tuscany, I think provides students the opportunity for lots of different types of exploration.
Students studying English, creative writing, theater, art, journalism, music industry, dance, and graphic design are using the city to hone their skills.
Well, we started about 3 or 4 months ago.
Graphic design students were responsible for designing the marketing material for the city's dance and art festival, the DAP Festival, which will also feature students. I am now at the Gente Culturale, which is the city's cultural center. And you don't have to go far to stumble upon some dancers, you just have to follow the music. A ballet studio where toes are pointed and the room is alive with energy. Just another art form here in Pietrasanta.
Just like walking around, everything is art, like just the building, like looking up the windows and the arches, and it's truly inspiring. And I feel like I can apply it to my dancing because I feel so inspired by the art around me that I get to create art in the studio.
With instructors and students from across the world, dancers must overcome a communication barrier. But one performer says dance helps bridge that gap.
So it's hard to communicate with them, but through dance we have one language that's French, so we're able to communicate more through dance than anything.
Students will perform in Pietrasanta from June 26th to the 29th, but until then they'll just have to continue to see what this Italian coastal city has to offer. In Pietrasanta, Italy, Brady Talbert, Troy, TrojanVision News.
While all of the College of Communication and Fine Arts departments are taking part in the Summer Arts Academy, each group's time there is being spaced out throughout the summer, including one group that was preparing to make the trip back home by the time our TrojanVision Study Abroad team had arrived. Victoria Cirilli has more.
As other groups begin arriving to Pietrasanta, Italy, the English department is packing up and saying ciao to what's been their home, sparking their creativity and providing experiences to fuel their writing.
So we're taking advanced writing, which is an upper level English class, and it's kind of based around, writers in America have been expatriate and have been living abroad since America has been a country. So we've really been focusing on kind of the lost generation, as Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, and really seeing how they wrote about their experiences abroad and almost, modeling our writing after that.
After each new adventure, the writers reflect on what they have learned, the subject of each poem, short story, and journal entry.
It's been a really wonderful experience. One of the reasons why I originally chose Troy as the college the university I wanted to go to was because of their reputation as this international campus of Alabama, and so finally having this opportunity to study abroad was literally a dream come true. I've been trying to go abroad since high school, And so getting this chance to come to Italy, it's been incredible.
As they depart, the English students say a final goodbye to their Italian friends, but appreciate their newfound ability to communicate through shared memories.
It's hard to imagine a more culturally inspiring place for Troy students than Pietrasanta. Situated between the mountains and the beach, creativity is sure to flow through any writer's pen. In Pietrasanta, Italy, Victoria Cirilli, Troy TrojanVision News.
In its first year, Troy University's Summer Arts Academy has given students from all the departments of the College of Communication and Fine Arts a chance to use their talents overseas, including students majoring in graphic design. Mackenzie Daly shows us how one of those students has been spending her time on Italian soil.
Italy is currently Troy University's home away from home for students a part of the Summer Arts Academy in Pietrasanta. This gives Troy students the opportunity to take classes and explore the city for weeks out of the summer.
Because of where we're staying, David and I have bikes that we ride in and out of the city, and I think that staying here for 2 weeks, that means that I kind of get used to the city. I have to do a commute, and I have to learn it and know the city.
If you take a look around, it's not hard to run into posters for the DAP Festival. Our Troy University graphic design students have been working hard on these designs, which are displayed all over the city.
My team and I have been working on all the graphics for the DAP Festival, so we've been doing posters and badges, billboards, mini posters for each performance for social media.
While Chloe Lyle focuses on graphics and photography this trip, she was able to travel to China earlier this year through Troy's Confucius Institute.
I think something that Troy is really good at is providing opportunities for students to study abroad, study in cultures that they wouldn't have been able to before. And so I think that Pietrasanta and everything happening here, it's really cool because there are so many programs that are coming here. It's not just one specific program, but like a lot of them.
If you're interested in learning more about your opportunity to study abroad, visit Troy University's official website for more information. In Pietrasanta, Mackenzie Daly, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll learn about a camp at Troy focusing on teaching the Chinese language. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
On this week's Talk of Troy, Felicia Bell, the director of Troy University's Rosa Parks Museum, says that Juneteenth is tied to a landmark in the history of civil rights.
So on June 19, 1865, enslaved people in Texas were finally told that they were free.
We'll hear more on the Talk of Troy, Fridays at 8:45 a.m. and 3:44 p.m. and Sundays at 4:35 p.m. on Troy Public Radio.
You might start on a Troy campus or at your kitchen table. Wherever you start, you'll be more than a student. You'll be part of the Troy family, armed with the education, values, and skills you need to succeed. Ready to lead today's global workforce. No challenge will feel impossible. No dream will be out of reach, because we will be with you all the way. Trojan Warriors, one and all.
Troy University's Confucius Institute works to help spread knowledge of Chinese language and culture year-round. However, on Monday morning, a group of visitors kicked off a 2-week educational experience revolving around China. Carissa Justice has more.
For the next few weeks, these students and teachers will immerse themselves in Chinese language and culture as a part of the Troy Star Chinese Language Camp.
This camp is mainly for high school students interested in learning the Chinese language and culture, and we have a combined program with both the teachers, potential teachers to become Chinese language teachers, and the students. We do a one-to-one program. One teacher matches up with one student. They will almost live together speaking the Chinese language 95% of the time.
The interaction between the students and teachers in the camp will not only educate those participants, but ultimately they will expand Chinese education techniques in the United States.
The ultimate goal is to cultivate a group of young learners and potential teachers to develop Chinese and cultural language courses or resources or teaching in the United States.
Troy University has held a Chinese language camp on campus every summer for many years through a partnership with the Confucius Institute, and it extends the relationships Troy already has well established in China.
You know, we certainly are very connected to China in terms of the number of students we bring over every year, the number of partnerships we have in China, the Confucius Institute and what that means to Troy University and to Chinese culture. The language program that was begun back in the mid-2000s with the federal grant, the Star Talk grant, that is now evolved into Troy Star, I think is very important in terms of continuing this practice of instruction, linguistics instruction in Chinese.
And Tatum feels a camp such as Troy Star only builds on Troy's reputation as a school with strong international ties.
Well, I think the importance is it gives us an opportunity as Alabama's international university to bring onto campus both individuals who are interested in foreign language instruction as well as individuals who are interested in learning a foreign language to experience what Troy is really about.
Carissa Justice, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy Star specifically gives high school students a chance to learn about Chinese language and culture. Carissa Justice caught up with some of those students to find out what they hope to gain from the camp.
All this week, Troy University is hosting the 2019 Troy Star Chinese Language Camp, giving students the opportunity to immerse themselves in the Chinese language, some of those students for multiple years, which have allowed them immense growth in their Chinese-speaking abilities.
It's separated into two classes, and the first class is mainly like people who've never spoken Chinese before, and so when I first started I was in that class and I couldn't hold conversation, I could barely say my name, and then now I can sit and have a 10-minute conversation about just about anything you'd want to talk about.
Troy Star has been held consistently on Troy's campus for many years and has a unique curriculum that keeps students interested in returning.
Chinese is just really interesting, and it's my favorite language that I've been learning, that I've learned. I wanted to improve my Chinese. I didn't want to stagnate over the summer.
I enjoy the culture, and it's just a fun way to keep up with stuff you learn during school over the summer.
And while their reasons for beginning their study of the Chinese language may vary,
it was an after-school program at my elementary school, and I didn't have anything else to do in the afternoons, and so I just kind of stuck with it.
I like languages, and it's so much more different than all the Western languages, and I think it's going to be a lot more useful.
The students agree that they intend to continue their studies in Chinese.
I'd like to go into international business, and so I'm hoping to minor in Chinese, and I hope this helps with that.
My goal in learning Chinese is to become as fluent as a native speaker. I'm going to study next year in China abroad.
Troy Star will wrap up with a closing ceremony on July 6th. Carissa Justice, Troy, TrojanVision News.
All last week, young musicians from across the country were on campus learning the musical ropes from Troy University's Sound of the South. And at the end of the week, those musicians showed off the skills they learned. Cody Giles gives us a look at their final performance.
Troy University's Bandcamp wrapped up today with performances from all aspects of band, from the band itself, to the drum majors, the color guard, the drum line, and even some bagpipes.
You're looking at about maybe 15 hours worth of work, and we're playing the 25-minute concert, and the music we're playing difficulty-wise are grades 4s and 5s, which really is amazing, because when you think about it, for a high school group to do that, it would take months, and these guys did it in 3.5 days.
Each attendee has the chance to live a phenomenal experience with lessons and people they won't soon forget.
I would say how comforting the staff is with how they just assist you, and just how at home you feel here.
I can improve on my skills and possibly become better, because I want to come to Troy for college, and I really want to make quads. So as what they taught me is that technique is important.
Though their time here this year is over, Troy University will be welcoming these kids and more back next year.
We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, the city of Troy unveils a big tribute to the history of Troy. We'll give you a look at this sizable piece of art right after this.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Alabama is celebrating its bicentennial this year with a statewide celebration that includes many local events and projects, including one in the city of Troy, which highlights the people, places, and stories of Troy in a big way. Aduria Hughes has the story.
Downtown Troy has a new attraction for residents and visitors that gives a look into the history of the city.
The mural is a representation of the last 200 years of Alabama for Alabama's bicentennial. It specifically relates to Troy and our scenery and our people. So it's a mixture of different places in Troy and people past and present from Troy.
The mural includes past and present leaders here in Troy, including leading advocate for voters' rights and registration in the city of Troy, the late Johnny May Warren.
I'm just so honored that the city of Troy, I thought never heard to do this. And my mother was a lady who was always willing to help everybody, a big influence in the community in terms of civil rights, people's rights, elderly rights. And she early Me Too also. She hired a lot of women in her capacity as an employer. So it's just great to see the city of Troy appreciate with the effort that she made for help the city better.
The mural's design was created by local artist and recent Troy University graduate Alexandria McLendon. The project was coordinated by McLendon's high school art teacher and mentor Pam Smith.
She texted me and asked me if I'd be interested in helping with the mural. And I was excited. I was like, of course, I'd love to. And then she told me that it was my mural if I wanted it. It was mine from start to finish. So then I started attending Reunion Troy meetings where they have community volunteers come together to put together events like this for the bicentennial. And we discussed people and places that they wanted on the mural. They kind of had an idea of what they already wanted. So for about 3 months, we put together what was going to be depicted in the mural.
The mural is located across from the Johnson Center for the Arts. Adoria Hughes, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And inside the Johnson Center for the Arts, there's a new exhibit on display that features some dramatic artwork and a difficult style of painting. Seth Carpenter has more.
Johnson Center for the Arts has a new art gallery on their main floor. This time it's from an artist who has never had their own exhibit before.
This exhibit is by Andrea Chipser. She's from Destin, Florida. This is her first exhibit. She's been a painter for a while and had never had a formal exhibit, and her work is absolutely unbelievably beautiful.
The artist's style is a unique and hard style of painting called acrylic pour and features different themes from the ocean, the animals that live in the ocean, and some farm animals.
She does acrylic pour, and when she came in to bring her work, I tried to get her to describe to me exactly what an acrylic pour is. As she was describing it to me, it's kind of magical. I mean, you have layers of different solutions or a paint or that react with the particular color of the paint.
But White says that if you truly want to experience the art, you have to see it for yourself.
The best way to appreciate this work is to come in and see it, come to the reception and hear the artist talk about the work, and you will really appreciate it. Opening reception is Tuesday, July 9th, and 6 to 8 o'clock here at the center.
Seth Carpenter, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Last weekend, Troy University's Rosa Parks Museum played host to a block party as a part of the oldest known celebration commemorating the official end of slavery in the United States, Juneteenth. Octavius Osmond has more from Montgomery.
The Rosa Parks Museum on the Montgomery campus of Troy University held their third annual Juneteenth celebration to commemorate the day that slaves in the state of Texas were told they were free. This year, local vendors lined the streets, there was live music and speakers for the day's events.
What better place to celebrate freedom for African Americans than here at the Rosa Parks Museum, where Mrs. Parks exercised her freedom to protest peacefully on December 1st, 1955.
People from across the state of Alabama came to participate in this year's Juneteenth celebration held here at Rosa Parks Museum. People like Ms. Joyce O'Neill spoke about what Juneteenth means to them.
Juneteenth means recalling and celebrating the date that a lot of African Americans found out they were no longer enslaved. That's what Juneteenth means to me.
Joyce Coffin, one of the members of the band, the Red Mountain Yellowhammers, and one of the speakers at the day's events, spoke about how she wanted to inform the people there about the impact African Americans have had on country music.
People don't know about country music that blacks even played it, because it's so white now. You never, other than Charlie Pride, you never hear of a black country musician. So I wanted people to know that, and not only that they played this kind of music, but they played it kind of better than everybody else.
The Juneteenth celebration was an all-day event that went on from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. From Montgomery, I'm Octavius Osmond, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Well, it's time for our last break. When we return, we'll learn how school children can get a taste of theater and dance this summer at Troy University. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mama. Say mama. Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm almost 2 now and still not responding. That's one sign of a communication disorder, and delaying treatment can affect my development.
Many parents aren't aware of the early signs of speech, language, and hearing disorders, yet early detection and treatment can improve quality of life.
Say dada.
Ugh, here we go.
Identify the signs of communication disorders.
Troy University's Summer Spotlight gives school children the chance to learn about theater and dance from the Troy's Department of Theater and Dance. We'll learn more about the camp in this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Maddie McCall and Jenny Meadows, here to talk about Summer Spotlight. Thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having us.
And we're going to talk about Summer Spotlight. It's an opportunity for some young people to get involved with the theater and dance department here at Troy University. And if you would kind of give us kind of a little overview of what this camp's all about.
Well, this camp is, we have several different camps through the Summer Spotlight program. We have the Creative Drama Camp. That's for children ages 6 to 13. And that's where they participate in creative drama activities using their imagination, where they problem solve and work together to just create things. And then we have the Spotlight on Dance Camp. That's for children aged 8 through 12. And we also have the Performance Intensive, which is for high school students and incoming freshmen. And that's a little bit more intense. That's why it's called an intensive, right?
And it's for the older kids, so an opportunity for them to maybe try to start working their way towards maybe the collegiate level. And I know a lot of times that's one of those kind of maybe recruiting things for those students, and it's split up into 2 different disciplines.
Right.
So if you're not just in front of the actor, you can learn about some things as well.
We have the performance track or the tech management track. And you talked about a recruitment tool. Maddie.
Yes, I went to the intensive before I came here, right before my freshman year. It was like my first taste of Troy theater, and it really gave me a good feel of like, okay, this is kind of what the department is like. Met some of the people, because all the staff, well, most of the staff is actually Troy like theater students, and they're really good too, because Troy let me be able to do, like, I was able to do some performance classes and some tech classes, but it was a really good vibe of like, this is what Troy Theater is. And
it prepared you to be where you are right now.
Yes.
And that is, you were actually helping out, and it's kind of an interesting combination. You were in it, but now you're teaching it, and you're teaching it as a part of class credit for Jenny's class. But it's also kind of your vocational goal too. Is this something you're wanting to do maybe when you grow up?
Yes, I would love to stage manage, which is good to learn in the tech and management intensive. That taught me a lot about what stage managing at a collegiate level is. But also teaching Summer Spotlight is real, like, actual hands-on experience teaching people about theater, which is something I'm super passionate about already.
And as a part of this, and Jenny, you've been involved with this for many years and at different levels. talk about what it means for students, especially the younger children, to be able to have this opportunity, especially in a place like Troy and in this part of the country, to be able to spend a week learning about theater and dance.
Well, I grew up in Troy, and there weren't very many opportunities for me to seek out artistic endeavors. And we had summer programs here at the university, but that was just putting on a show where children were on stage for just a few minutes. Like, take for example, The King and I was in that show, and I went on stage, and then that was it. There wasn't a whole lot of curriculum, and I didn't learn a whole lot about the art form. And Tori, our department chair, and I sat down 11 years ago, and we dreamt up Summer Spotlight. And we said, we want children in the area to have a rich, meaningful experience where they participate with creative drama activities, which is non-competitive, where they learn about theater and play games. And we also want to give them the opportunity to put on a show.
And that's always a fun part of this. Every year, it kind of builds up to that big show. And that's something that, especially the parents, are going to get a kick out of watching their kids put on this show.
That's my favorite part about Summer Spotlight, is that it's like so process oriented, but there still is something at the end for everyone to work towards, even though that's not like the goal of the camp itself.
And the goal of the camp too is to teach theater education students how to run a classroom. So the creative drama class that I teach is really a laboratory setting.
So everybody's learning at all levels, like from the youngest children all the way up to the college kids here. They're all learning, and it has something, educational process all the way around. Now, if anybody's interested in getting involved, there's still opportunities, even though it's coming up pretty soon, there's still opportunities for them to get involved and register for this, right?
We had such a tremendous turnout for the Creative Drama Camp that we actually opened up a second camp that runs July 7th through 12th, and that cost is $200, but the students are fed, and it lasts from 8 until 5, and I'm telling you, that's the best babysitter you can have, because your children are going to have fun and they're going to learn. So instead of paying a babysitter, just send your child to Creative Drama Camp. And then Spotlight on Dance also runs
the same week.
The same week, and it's for children age 8 through 12. The Creative Drama Camp is for children ages 6 through 13.
Okay.
And then the performance intensive, there are still some slots available for it, and it is July 22nd through 26th. And the cost of that, it's a little bit more because we pull in teaching artists from all over the country, and everyone there has really impressive resumes, and they have professional credits, and they're working in the industry. And the cost for that camp, which includes room and board, is $450.
So still not bad for room and board and overnight stays.
No, and when you look at similar programs across the country, you pay a whole lot more for what we offer, and the quality is just as good.
Of course, and if they want to register, what can they do to register for any of those camps we've talked about here?
To register, you can go to the troytheater.org, or you can go to see Miss Jane in Malone 132.
And one thing to remember about Troy Theater, that it is spelled R-E on there. We got it on the screen there for us. So if anybody's looking for that, they can register there, stop by the office. And when should they be the deadline for registration?
The deadline is July 1st. And just a little note, because sometimes websites are not navigable, but you go to troytheater.org and click the Other Events tab, and then you'll see Summer Spotlight, and that's where the registration forms are.
Well, good luck with this year's Summer Spotlight. Here's hoping that there's a good turnout. Obviously, you filled a second week, so hopefully that'll happen.
So
good luck with this year's Summer Spotlight. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's all for the week that was. Until next time, have a good week.